Hi everybody, welcome back. Can you believe another year has gone by before we're starting the 2021 AoC Fitness Training Competition. So today we are joined by the lovely Angus Milligan, Development Officer for AoC Sport, who is instrumental to the WorldSkills and AoC Fitness Training Competition. So Angus, for those of you who don't know you as well as we do, as the gang at Active IQ, can you tell us a bit more about your role at the AoC and the importance of the competition itself?
So I'm the Development Officer at AoC Sport. I cover the Midlands and wider with the competition. So my role is around getting students active through fitness, sport and physical activity in the further education sector. With the competition, I look after the fitness training competition for the skills show as part of WorldSkills UK. Within that, there's the PT competition and the fitness assistant competition. The PT competitions for level 3 personal trainers and the fitness assistant competition for level 1 fitness assistants or equivalent study. So within that, I then have to drive that forward, organising competition at various stages, and then on to the final, which we're at now.
What about the competition itself? So, I mean, why do you think, obviously, it's such a long-standing competition, and, and why is it so important for, to recognise success of students, colleges, and training providers?
I think from a competitor's point of view, there's huge value to it. It really pushes forward their career, gives them opportunity to get into sector, meeting various of our partners, and excelling and pushing beyond what their normal assessment would in college or in training. So there's huge benefits to the competitor, and then obviously for the college or the training provider that they represent, there's huge benefits on a national scale to see their competitor reach the final stages or get through the various stages which are competitive anyway. So
fantastic. And of course, sadly, the competition went, well, obviously great that the competition went ahead last year, but of course, sadly, it was all virtual, it wasn't face to face. It's very excited to see it's obviously back face to face, people in the same room, amazing. So can you tell us a little bit more, obviously, about this year's event, because of course it has moved now, hasn't it? It's not usually at the NEC. It's back at Loughborough College for this year. Can you tell us the dates and the times, and obviously basically the planning that you've put in for this event, obviously going from virtual back into live face?
Yeah. So as you said, we traditionally are at the NEC in Birmingham, but this year, because of COVID and the recovery coming out of COVID, we've now shrunk that down a bit small scale, a bit more controlled. So we put the control measures in place, restricting and allowing social distancing. So we're going to be in Loughborough over 3 days, starting on the 12th, where we see the fitness assistant competition, and then on the 13th and 14th, the Saturday and Sunday, we'll be seeing the personal trainer competition. We split the competition in half, so we'll see 4 competitors on the Saturday and 4 competitors on the Sunday. This is mainly to do with around COVID and making sure that we can, if restrictions come in place, and we can still run the competition. So that's a little bit different. It's going to be quite an intense day. So we packed in what they would have on a traditional year over 2 days. We packed in over 1 day. So they will have a lot to do, and it will be very focused and very, well, it's going to be difficult for the competitors, but it'll be well worth their time.
So you're making them work hard this year again, Angus, as always?
Yes, I would say so. We are pushing them. Yeah, I don't know if they'll prefer it or not prefer it. Maybe that overnight overthinking things isn't great, and you can just get it all done in 1 day. But I guess each competitor will be different how they approach it. Last year we did everything over Zoom, which was fantastic, and elements have remained within our competition, elements over Zoom competition, and various stages in the competition we're still using Zoom. But it's going to be great to be back in person, seeing the competitors. The judges are really looking forward to it. Being fitness trainers and personal trainers, it's so important, that interaction, and to really see and build a relationship with people. So it'd be really nice to be back in person and not on the screen for once.
Yeah, I'm waiting for what challenge they're going to give me this year at the finals this year, because is it 2019 they had me doing a PT session, so see what they can get me doing this year. So Angus, how many colleges and training providers do you have competing this year?
So we have, I want to say 4. The more the merrier. We really want to see from the wider sector engagement and involvement. And yeah, if there's anyone that's interested, I'm available for a chat and we can get you involved. Send all the information. We've got various resource packs to prepare competitors and things like that. So we've got everything there if people want to be involved and move forward.
Because earlier you mentioned the benefits of being a competitor. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about what you'd say some of the rewards are for both the learners and the colleges getting involved?
Yeah, for the institutions, there's huge benefit because we're on a national scale. They're competing nationally against various other institutions. So to reach the finals for the college or the institution is a huge achievement. They're obviously flying the flag for their college. They represent that sector and represent their training provider. So there's huge benefits in that sense. And then for the college, for the student, there's obviously major benefits for excelling their career and pushing forward and really challenging themselves beyond what maybe necessarily they would have if they weren't involved with the competition.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So of course you've obviously said about the dates in the diary. So of course they're all penciled in, and the lovely Anna and Gavin from the Active IQ team obviously will be there live, seeing the final days take place, and of course doing lots of fun activities that I'm expecting to see. So please do keep them busy, Angus. Can you tell us a little bit more about what those actually days look like for the finalists, and sort of what tasks they're actually expected to do this year?
Yeah, so the competitors have now all had their tasks and they've had their criteria, so they can see what they need to do, what the judges expected to see. So on the day they'll have a PT session to run with their client, where they'll just run their standard PT session and then be judged against criteria. After that, they'll have a hard skills demonstration where they'll have to show a series of hard skills, progression or regression, depending on what the judges require from them. They also have an interview task where they'll be interviewed by the judges as sector leads in various elements of being a PT. They'll also have a small group class to run with up to 3 clients, which they'll run throughout the day. And then they have fitness testing to do with a competitor, and they have a planning task as well.
Have you got any digital elements in there? So of course, I know that when it was digital last year, you put like a lot of digital based elements because of taking almost taking account the change of the world that we saw really take place over the last couple of years. So is there still much digital back then?
With the success of the digital finals, we took various elements from that and put it into our national qualifier stages. So the qualifying stages before they reached this stage, where they did a PT session over Zoom with a competitor judged by our judging team, and then they had to demonstrate hard skills over Zoom, taking into various elements that they'll have to camera positioning and making sure they're in picture, and then how they would coach through the screen rather than in person. And it's a different skill, and it's a skill that the sector are going to need moving forward. The demand hasn't gone down for Zoom classes and Zoom PT sessions. So it is an element we're keeping in. It stretches the learner in a different way. So that's where we fit that in. And then the final is going to be in-person PTing session. So
this year's going to be quite different to previous years of usually. So last year was all digital. The year before it was done at the NEC in Birmingham. So this year's the Loughborough College is the venue. Are you excited about the new venue and what's going to be different about it?
Very excited. It's nice to be in a college, showcasing college venue. It'll be good to be at the NEC. We construct our own gym and we construct our a makeshift area. Well, the area that we'll be using is a traditional gym, a traditional space, a traditional studio. So they'll be more familiar for the competitors in there for sure. And yeah, I am excited. I'm excited to be back in person and seeing the competitors and meeting them. Whilst it was really nice, the virtual competition, you don't really build that relationship with the competitors in the same way, and get to really see them in person. Will be lovely, to be honest.
So is there any key advice that obviously you would give for this year's finalists if they're obviously watching, which I'm sure they will be, of course? You know, so what sort of like key tips or things that you've learned from previous years would you tell them to do right now? Hopefully their homework would obviously probably be one of them.
The biggest tip is to read the task and read the criteria. All the information's there. What the judges want to see is in the criteria. So it's all there, so you can definitely meet exactly what they need to see for you to be judged and be marked highly. So yeah, if you spend some time understanding the criteria, and then that you'll have every chance of being successful.
So for those watching, and obviously, as you mentioned earlier, Angus, you know, maybe they're a future contender, you know, maybe they're a future college or training provider who are wanting to get involved, you know, how can they get in touch with you to find out more?
Through my email at angus.milligan@aoc.co.uk. That's probably the best way. We also have a fitness trainer email, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you just went direct to me, then I can get you through all the stages, and we can show you the resources and set you up to potentially enter for the following year.
Fantastic. And what sort of timescale do people look at? So obviously enter the competition, you know, ready for that for next year. So
next year's competition, I believe that opening entry is around January time. So, and then I think it will be open till March. So that's a good window of opportunity to then, that's when, and as soon as this finishes, to approach me and we can set up moving forward how we get you involved and how we have you involved in the competition and the various stages, and everything is quite transparent. We've got various stages. The first stage is a passive stage where competitors will just have to complete a test, an online test, and then a promotional video about themselves. They'll then be graded on that. Top 30 competitors will then be taken through to the national final, whether it will be the virtual PT session, and then on to the final, which will hopefully be next year at the NEC, if all goes to plan. Fantastic. Back to the NEC. That will be a massive difference. Yeah. Oh. Well, hopefully, I'm really hoping, obviously, that will be lots of colleges and other training providers wanting to get involved next year, so we can hopefully send you some more fantastic finalists. Would be amazing. So if you're watching, watch this space, email Angus, get involved. Fantastic. So, well, we're very excited to see the finals. I can't wait. Of course, we're going to get to know the finalists over the next few days and few weeks, you know, before we meet them at the finals. So fantastic. So watch this space, everybody, to find out who your finalists are. And Angus, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we're really looking forward to seeing you guys face to face in the team. And of course, you know, please give, you know, Karen, head judge, and obviously all the judges our best. And we look forward to catching up with them very soon too. Brilliant.
Thank you, Angus.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angus. Bye.
Bye-bye.